Hi everyone, my name is Zach Howard, and I'm going to be talking about the Evangelical Lutheran Church, or really Lutheranism, as it started out early, and now it's kind of evolved into the Evangelical Lutheran Church. That's really all over the world and America here, and one of the leading denominations. Now for me, this is kind of something that's outside of the box a little bit. So as I read the assignment, and it says, hey, don't do a denomination that you are, do something different to learn more about them. I was trying to think outside the box a little bit, and so this is kind of what I came up with. It might not seem like out of the box to some, but it kind of is for us. Our church, I'm in Southern California, for those who don't know that or who haven't read the previous forums. And our church is a bit unique. We have people from all different types of backgrounds, mainly being Catholic, as we're in Southern California and there's a large Hispanic population here. There's a lot of Catholic churches, but so we have some former Catholics in our church. We have some charismatics in our church, some Reformed people, some Baptists. We got a little bit of everything. We're kind of like a melting pot of denominational backgrounds, and it's pretty awesome the way the Lord's work, because it works out well for us, because our theology and our doctrinal statements as a church is kind of like that. It's kind of a melting pot of different things. We're Reformed, we're a little bit Baptist, we're a little bit charismatic, though we don't really like that term. So we're a little bit of everything, and it kind of works out, and we're not really labeled into a box, because we try to believe the Bible, and everybody has truth in some regards. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So let me talk about the Lutheran Church, Evangelical Church, and this is important. And as I started doing research, and I'll read some quotes here in a minute, I knew it was important, but it's really cool that the Evangelical Lutheran Church has a hand in a lot of different Protestant denominations, which we all know. It's not like groundbreaking information, but it is just fascinating that the influence that they had, particularly in the early days of their formation. And of course, Lutheranism can be traced all the way back to October 31st of 1517, which we all know is when Martin Luther kind of nailed his 95 Thesis up. And what he wanted to do is he wanted to reform the Catholic Church. Well, as we all know, and even here, let me just read this. I got simply from the Britannica. In 1517, when Martin Luther probed the church practices surrounding the indulgences with his 95 Theses, he had no intention of breaking from the Catholic Church, assuming that his call for theological and ecclesiastical reform would be heard. Instead, a fierce controversy ensued. Luther and his followers were subsequently excommunicated, which confronted them with the alternative of yielding to the ecclesiastical dictum or finding new ways to live out their faith. And so that was the start of it all. That was the start of the Protestant Reformation. And so this group of followers, of disciples of Luther, then took on the title of Lutherans, and they kind of expanded on this. And one other interesting thing I found from the Institute of Religion and Life, which is a Lutheran evangelical website, is that they said many Lutheran churches began as the ethnic churches, not using English in worship, but they were kind of known for using different languages, because of course it starts in Germany, but then it spread to Scandinavia, and which includes Norway and Sweden, all these places. So Lutheranism actually took on this idea of very multi-ethnic church, because they had services in so many different types of languages, and then of course coming to America, and then learning English as apart from Germany or whatever other language. And so it was actually known for that. So that's hugely important, I believe, as well. Something that I got is unlike the Roman Catholic Church, however, Lutheranism is not a single entity. It is organized in autonomous regional and national churches, such as the Church of Sweden or or Evangelical Lutheran Church in Germany, and so forth. And so there are some that are part of the Lutheran World Federation, but they're still autonomous churches. This is more or less of like a network of churches that work together. And so again, which influences a lot of Protestant denominations and how their church governs and works. And so this is Lutheranism at its core in the very beginning days, and then it kind of helped breed what we now know as evangelical Christianity and autonomous church governments and stuff like that. The other thing that I love, because again, as our church has a unique blend of theology and denominational backgrounds here, we are a Reformed church. And we adhere to the five solas. And so Lutheran theologians were the ones who kind of started really the three solas as it started off, and then later two more were added. But the first three being sola scriptura, sola fide, or sola fide. So there's a sola fide Christian conference that happens every year, but sola fide. And then sola gratia, which is scripture alone, faith alone, grace alone. And so the Lutheran Church is the one who kind of started that movement. And then later on, of course, solus Christus and soli Deo Gloria, which is Christ alone and for the glory of God alone. Now the solas weren't really systematically articulated until the 1900s of the 20th century, and but they were referred to, and forgive me, I'm going to get this name wrong, by Melanchthon in 1554, and he wrote, and now this is in Latin, but I also have a translation. So he wrote, "Sola gratia justificamus, et sola fide justificamur," which means only by grace do we justify, and only by faith are we justified. And so he was a Lutheran theologian in 1554 who made this statement, and that's then was reiterated by later Reformed theologians and Lutherans to mean sola scriptura, sola fide, and sola gratia. Again, scripture alone, faith alone, grace alone. And so they were kind of the beginning of that, which now lots of denominations accept that, and so we see the influence of Lutheranism in lots of denominations, and lots of denominations actually consider themselves part Lutheran. And so, and the last thing that I'll end, because I'm sure my time is going away as I'm a pastor and I always take a long time, is that there are 59 million Lutherans that belong to 250 different autonomous Lutheran churches around the world, according to the geologger.com, and I hope I say that right. But 59 million, and it's interesting to note too, because at least for us in our area in Southern California, another reason this is outside the box for me is there's not a lot of Lutheran churches in our area, but the Evangelical Lutheran Church is the second largest Protestant denomination in the world and in America, right behind the Baptist. And so that's all the time I have. So guys, I look forward to your comments and interacting with you guys. Have a blessed day.